So each month here on KOCO 5 News at 9, we sit down with Mayor David Holt to get an update on all things Oklahoma City. And guess what? He joins us today for our January sit down. Mayor Holt, welcome in.
Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me.
Always good to see you. So I want to start with the Human Rights Commission. Big topic here. It's the first meeting was held this week since the 90s. Give me some backstory here for people who don't really know the history of this and why it came to be again.
Sure. Most large American cities, including even Tulsa, have a Human Rights Commission. It's a place, you know, the title can sometimes make people think it goes a little bit farther than it does, but it's got a narrow, in Oklahoma, it's got a narrow set of parameters given to it by state law and by, in this case, ordinance. And I think it sends a statement that makes a statement that our community cares about human rights and equality and equal opportunity. And unfortunately, in the 1990s, ours was abolished over purely, bigoted reasons. And that's part of the historical record. But in the summer of 2020, a lot of things were on the table and a lot of conversations were happening, and people said we needed to revisit this. And so we had a task force methodically and thoughtfully explored this issue, ultimately came forward for a council vote. You covered that. We probably talked about it at the time. And that was a few months ago. That was in the fall, and it was reinstated. And so this week, you know, the things move slowly. It took a few months to get everything sorted out, but this week we had our first inaugural meeting. And I say I went and said hi, but you know, ultimately the commission's legacy will be written by the commission itself. Valerie Couch, former dean of OCU Law, former federal magistrate judge, is the chairperson of that. There are 8 people representing all the city's wards. And again, we're not an outlier, and obviously that's where I want Oklahoma City to be. I want us to be a city that values human rights and equal opportunity, and every month we'll have those conversations at the Human Rights Commission.
Okay, another timely topic here, homelessness, as the point-in-time count is actually underway as we speak.
Yes.
So let's talk about efforts to lessen our homeless population here in the city, and do you still feel like that's a very large problem for us here?
So interesting. Yes, of course. I mean, it's always a serious problem. But the fact that the point-in-time count is going on right now is a great reminder that we do that every year, and have for many, many, many years. And it gives us a clear view and good data on where the problem really is. And actually, when you calculate population into it, because we've had a lot of population growth over the last 15 years, our per capita rate of homelessness in Oklahoma City has actually gone down 42% over the last 15 years, at least as of last year's point-in-time count. We'll know more after today in the coming weeks. It takes them a little time to process the data. But having said that, I don't say that to minimize the problem, but I do try to give some realistic and hard data so people can understand where the problem really sits. I mean, we're 82nd in homelessness among all American cities, but we're the 20th largest city. So obviously we're doing better than our peers. But are there people doing better than us even? Of course, and we should emulate them and we should try to learn from them. And we've got a lot of different proposals out there. We've got a lot of different ongoing programs. Obviously the MAPS $4 are coming for affordable housing. Housing is a critical element of this. You know, duh, it's homelessness, and people will tell you that housing first is how you solve it. But you also have to, you have to have those wraparound services, because a lot of the people we're talking about have got a lot of challenges. Many times mental health issues, substance abuse issues. Their decision making is not the same as yours and mine. And so we have to have a lot of paths to get them out, because ultimately they have free will. And so we find that it's good to have different types of programming in place, one of which we hope will appeal to them, whether it's curbside, which I think is a national model, whether it's a better way, whether it's the nonprofit sector that we know so much about, like City Rescue and Jesus House, and obviously the work that's over at the Homeless Alliance and the work at the Low Barrier Night Shelter. So all of these things are part of kind of the ecosystem that we've created. Over the last few years, I had a task force that came out with a very in-depth report, which you can go to okc.gov and read. That led to more city staff focused on the issue, because honestly, traditionally, it was a nonprofit sector issue, really not a ton of involvement from City Hall. Now we're trying to be more of a convener, more of a leader in this space, and we'll see where it all goes. But I do want to say that the momentum has always been good. The numbers have always been coming down, or at least been stable. But until the number's 0, I think your community always cares about it, and the number likely never will be 0. But we have to keep making sure that people are not chronically homeless, and that we're providing pathways out of that life. And we do that as a community all the time, and I think it's still a high priority.
And so we'll report back on those numbers, by the way.
Yeah.
Once we get the point in
Sure,
time count,
sure.
we'll make sure to let you know what they come up with. So you were just in D.C. talking with mayors all across the country. Anything interesting come out of there in D.C.?
Well, sure.
Yeah.
We as mayors go to Washington as a group at least once a year, usually in January. There's about 250 of us that were there. You know, cities are the chief cultural and economic engines of the country. I mean, I as a big city mayor, I think of cities really as kind of city states. And we're America's 20th largest city now. And that's changed a lot since I was born. You know, when I came into this world, we were 37th. And so now we're one of America's big cities. So obviously, I always think that Oklahoma City needs to be in those rooms, needs to have a seat at the table as one of America's largest cities. And I think that all cities need to have that voice when decisions are made in Washington. We've had a good couple years. We had direct city funding through ARPA. We had the passage of the bipartisan infrastructure law, which we expect to see a lot from in the years ahead. And so we talked about those things and any number of other topics. I got a very small meeting with the Secretary of State. You know, city diplomacy is becoming more and more of a thing, especially here in Oklahoma City. You know, we have the opening soon of the Mexican consulate. We are really emerging as a global city, so getting a chance to visit with the Secretary of State about that was a great opportunity. We as a group went to the White House and heard from the president on Friday. So it was a great opportunity. I always love sharing best practices with fellow mayors and making sure that Oklahoma City's voice and cities in general have a seat at the table in Washington.
Love that. Love to see OKC represented there in D.C. Mayor Holt, as always, thanks so much for coming on today.
Yeah,
really appreciate it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
See you next month.